I was never a rich woman. For more than 40 years, I cleaned offices, cooked in people's homes, and saved every single dollar I could. All I ever wanted was a roof over my head and a place where my son Ryan could feel safe. That little wooden house on Willow Street was my heaven. The paint peeled off every few years, the porch creaked when you stepped on it, but it was ours. Ryan used to run around that house barefoot, laughing, playing with marigolds in the garden. He'd look up at me with those big brown eyes and say,
Mama, when I grow up, I'm gonna buy you a big house. No leaks, no broken fence.
And I'd laugh and tell him, Baby, I don't need a new house. I just need you to keep coming home.
That's all I ever wanted. Strich.
When Ryan finished high school, he told me he wanted to move to the city. He had big dreams, to be a businessman, to wear nice suits, to travel. I didn't want to hold him back. So I packed him a lunch, kissed his forehead, and said,
Go make me proud, son.
At first, he'd call every week. Then every month. Then, not at all. But whenever he asked for money, I sent it. Sometimes I skipped my medicine or worked extra shifts to send him something. People told me, Martha, he's taking advantage of you. But I'd just smile and say, he's my boy. A mother doesn't count her sacrifices.
Strich.
10 years went by before I saw him again. One afternoon, I heard a car horn outside. When I opened the door, there he was, my Ryan, handsome, successful, wearing a suit, and standing next to a beautiful young woman.
He hooked ticht.
Mama, he said, this is Amanda, my fiancée. That night, I cooked his favorite meal, cornbread and beef stew. He ate like he hadn't eaten in years. We talked, and I felt like my heart had finally come home. But then, after dinner, he said, Mom, I need a favor. It's just paperwork. I need to use your house as collateral for a business project. It's temporary, I promise. I'll pay it off in 2 months. I froze. My house? The only thing I owned in this world? But then I looked at him, my boy, and I thought, what kind of mother would I be if I didn't help him when he needed me most? So I signed the papers. No lawyer. No questions. Just trust. 2 months passed. Then 3. Then 6. No word from Ryan. I left him messages, but he never called back. Then, one morning, I got a letter. It was from a law firm. They said my house had been sold. I remember reading that line over and over. Sold. I dropped the letter on the floor. Everything went silent, the ticking clock, the birds outside. It was like the world stopped breathing with me. My knees gave out, and I sat there, staring at the marigolds through the window. I had raised that boy with my blood, my sweat, my youth. And now, I had nothing. That night, I cried so hard I thought I'd never stop. The new owners gave me 1 week to leave. I packed my clothes, my photo albums, and a small box of my husband's old tools. I rented a little room behind a bakery. It smelled like sugar and yeast, and at night, I could hear the ovens humming. Every evening, I sat by the window, holding Ryan's baby picture, whispering, You'll come back, baby. You just got lost for a while. But days turned to weeks, and weeks to months. He never came. I found out much later what had happened. His fiancée, Amanda, had taken all his money and run off with another man. His business fell apart, his investors turned against him, and he lost everything. Just like that. I didn't hear any of this from him, of course. I heard it from someone who worked at the courthouse. And for a long time, I thought, maybe this is karma. Maybe the world does balance itself, after all. But then I thought, he's still my son. Even when they break your heart, they're still your child. Almost a year later, I was folding napkins in the bakery when the bell above the door rang. I looked up, and there he was. My son. He looked thinner, older, broken. His voice trembled as he said, Mama. I didn't move. My hands froze. He came closer, and his eyes filled with tears.
Mom, I'm sorry.
I lost everything. Amanda fooled me. I didn't know what I was doing. He fell to his knees, crying like a child. And all I could do was reach out and touch his cheek. Shoo, I whispered. You're here now. That's enough. I wanted to be angry, but I wasn't. I was just tired of waiting, tired of hurting. But deep down, I knew that maybe this was his way back home. He started helping me at the bakery. He worked long hours, sweeping floors, washing dishes, learning to bake. Every morning, I made coffee for us both. And every morning, I left a folded napkin next to his cup with a small note written in my handwriting. Love doesn't vanish. It just hides until we learn our lesson. Pride breaks what love built. Fix it with work, not words. He never said anything, but I saw him reading them carefully. And for the first time in years, I saw the boy I once raised, humble, kind, grateful. One morning, I didn't feel well. My hands were weak, my breath short. Ryan said, "Mom, maybe you should see a doctor." I smiled. "I'm just tired, baby. I've lived a long life." That night, I sat by my window, looking at the little pot of marigolds I'd planted behind the bakery. They were blooming again, just like they always did, no matter how many times life tried to bury them. I took out a letter I'd been writing for months and placed it on my bedside table. Then I lay down, closed my eyes, and let the night take me gently. When Ryan found me, I was already gone. He told me later that he sat beside me for hours, holding my hand and reading my letter. In that letter, I wrote, "My dearest Ryan, I knew you'd come back someday, not because you lost everything, but because you'd finally remember where you came from. When you sold the house, I didn't hate you. I hated myself for raising a boy who thought money could buy peace. But son, pain has a purpose. It teaches you who you really are. I never stopped loving you, not even for a second. That little house may be gone, but the home we built, the love, the memories, they live in you now." With the money I earned here at the bakery, I bought a tiny cottage on Maple Lane. It's in your name. I planted marigolds outside, from the same seeds I saved from our old house. Whenever you see them bloom, remember, everything broken can grow again. Love always. Mama. After I passed, Ryan took over the bakery. He renamed it Langston's Loaves, but everyone just called it Martha's Place. He started helping single mothers, giving free bread to the homeless, and teaching kids how to bake. He planted marigolds in front of the bakery every spring. Sometimes, people say they still see a woman's shadow sitting by the window in the early morning light, folding napkins and smiling. Maybe that's just their imagination. Or maybe it's just me, still watching over my boy. If you've made it this far, thank you for listening to my story. I don't tell it for pity. I tell it because someone out there might be holding on to anger, toward a son, a daughter, a parent. Let it go. Sometimes silence and forgiveness are louder than any punishment. And love always finds its way back home.